Kyle Deschanel, The Rothschild Who Wasn't, Part 2. In 2022, when Kyle Deschanel leased his Soho dream mansion, he was nearly ubiquitous in downtown nightlife circles. Now, those environments are ones which would allow a narcissist to assert control over a wide range of people, draw plenty of fuel, and would be the preserve most likely of somatic or elite narcissists, going out to the places where often be seen with the beautiful people. Around this time, Emilio Vitolo was hosting parties at his family's restaurant on Houston Street, Emilio's Balato, where Rihanna had popped in for carry-out and Lenny Kravitz once bought a new awning in lieu of a tip. Vitolo turned the semi-private back room into a full-on club that served food and let patrons hang until the wee hours. Kyle was there. He was one of Emilio's oldest friends, he told people. They grew up together. They went to Catholic school in the West Village. Another close pal was Adan Moonves, the son of former CBS star Leslie Moonves, who's a part owner at the Chinatown hotspot Mr. Fong's. Deschanel was especially close with Dylan Hales, the Australian entrepreneur who ran the restaurant Little Ways and the bar The Flower Shop. Nightlife photographers caught Deschanel hobnobbing with the Australian model Bambi Northwood Blythe at the bar's anniversary party last March. So an environment of connection, an environment of being well known, people that have got money, a heady brew, and certainly one that would attract a narcissist. Deschanel said he was on the board of trustees for Same You, the brain health charity started by the Game of Thrones star Emilia Clarke and her mother Jenny. My dear friends, Kyle put in an email. He hosted events for the American Friends of the London Philharmonic Orchestra. At the Central Park Conservancy Hat Luncheon, he introduced himself to late General Electric CEO Jack Welch's widow. He took dates to Marjorelle, the swank boite, in the Upper East Side's Lowell Hotel. Moving in swanky circles, holding himself out with a degree of charitable and philanthropic works, which would accord with perhaps maintaining a particular facade and the demonstration of cognitive empathy. Every time we went there, he knew every single person, said another former girlfriend we'll call Cara, and a bill never came to the table there, just ever. Often, his beneficiaries said he paid with his Oxshot Capital Credit Card. He clanged down the Golden Amex for hours of cocktails and caviar at the Nines, or, at Cipriani, around the corner from the house. He would take dates to the major food group restaurants at the Seagram Building, the Grill, or the Lobster Club, where Wagyu runs at $42 an ounce. Exhibiting an extravagant lifestyle, multiple dates, potential repeated intimate partners, portraying a particular facade to the world, as mentioned earlier, one that was charitable and philanthropic, but also showing the world that he's got money, that he moves in these circles, that he's generous. He would always say, "It's so hard to date in New York because all these girls are just after my money." Paranoia, said Tracy Socat, an actor and model who knew Deschanel socially. He had a sort of unforgettable quality about him. He was worldly, well-connected, conversant in the dialect restricted to the old Europe families that drift through certain stretches of Italy and the south of France. But he was never boring or overly refined. Thus it would appear that he is able to pass off these connections, that he has some charisma. "I'm hot and rich and nice and smart and have a killer dick," he once texted a friend. Grandiose, boasting. He told some friends he grew up in Manhattan, enrolled in La Russie in Switzerland, and did stints in schools in Japan and Sweden. He rode crew at Princeton, he said, but was anything but a staid prepster. He frequented the New Society for Wellness, a shame-free sex club in Soho. Notice there that attendance at a sex club, often something that a narcissist would engage in. He had a self-aware streak, a rarity in such circles. That is an interesting observation. Meeting Apollo's family office group, changing into dirtbag clothes, he texted a third woman he dated we'll call Miranda. His attire for the supposed meeting with the private equity firm that has more than $500 billion in assets was a pair of tinted aviators and a flat-brimmed Modelo beer baseball cap. Sunglasses or no sunglasses, he asked, which shows more I don't give a fuck arrogance. His general demeanour was very much present on social media, primarily his very active Instagram handle, @DegenerateSnoopy, use of social media. It mostly consisted of memes built on old Peanuts cartoon capsules with Coke jokes and un-PC stuff written in the speech bubble. Bio, gentleman with edge, toxic but like in a fun way. My preferred pronoun is daddy. Again, exuberant, arrogant, demonstrating a domineering personality. Deschanel said he was on the road often, in Washington or Dubai or London, and frequently Riyadh. He told people that he worked for Aramco's parent entity, the Saudi Ministry of Energy, Industry and Mineral Resources, and effectively was reporting directly to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. When new friends Googled Kyle Deschanel, an Aramco.com email address would pop up. He took late-night calls in Arabic. He'd casually mention his connections to certain global movers and shakers. On a group chat called $Billion Blowies, he happily proffered a list of potential link-ups, a rising star trader, a couple of Blackstone hitters, the son of a well-known pro sports team owner. Daddy is a billionaire. He's annoying but eligible, Deschanel said. Eva Evans, a filmmaker based in New York and Los Angeles, dated Deschanel, another intimate partner, for a few months in 2022, short-lived, after meeting him in the back room at Balato's. He's very, very smart, and he's very funny, and he's very strange in somewhat of an entertaining way, Evans told me. Almost an encyclopedic knowledge of a lot of different things. Notice here, therefore, there is a capacity to not only know about things, but to do so to considerable depth. Evans remembered particularly his tossed-off asides, which often came out late. Occasionally, he'd even bring up his family. Sorry, I'm 3 drinks in and on ketamine, but it's no excuse, he texted Evans. Notice again, blatant admission of drug use. If I say my family invented money again whilst funny, kill me. He wasn't conventionally handsome. He had a strange gait, a weird look, and could be insecure. Recipients thought he'd face-tuned photos of himself before sending, chiseling his jawline, sharpening his features. In person, he was pure charisma. I thought he was kind of ugly and a little chubby and just gross overall, and I was not interested, said one woman we'll call Genevieve. He was with this model who I recognised that is pretty famous, and then I kept running into him. He was very, very charming. And so that's how we started hooking up. So notice that she wasn't into him at all, but that changed. It helped that he had Broom Street. People were just constantly using him for afters, Miranda said. That was just where the party was always at. Bella Thorne, whom Deschanel claimed to have dated for a time, came by. Another intimate partner. His old friend Misha Barton was always around. There's a cute selfie of the pair in his Broom Street bathroom mirror. There was a top note of top models, Sophie Sumner, Teddy Quinlivian, Nina Agdal, Rachel Hilbert, Robert Pattinson and Suki Waterhouse were at the 2023 New Year's Eve party, where a chef dressed as a French maid and a seated dinner turned into an all-night rager. Patterson couldn't immediately be reached for comment. Leonardo DiCaprio showed up to the house late one night with Richie Akiva. The nights were always late. He was, friends said, self-aware about that too. That was the weird thing. I feel like drugs, and being a degenerate, it was a big thing for him, Evans said. He would text you 5 different times, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 a.m., being, let's do drugs, let's do this. Lack of boundary recognition, hoovering. lack of emotional empathy, perhaps, for trying to involve people at drug taking at that time. Reported about this behaviour was a woman called Ashley. He was just very pushy, sense of entitlement. Camille Orders, a model who runs a boutique events consultancy, recorded lunch at Balthazar, where Deschanel claimed he had just come from the headquarters of the United Nations, working as an envoy from Saudi Arabia. And then he immediately goes, "Do you want a bump?" Orders recalled. And I was like, "No, it's a Monday afternoon. It's like 2 p.m. I guess there are a lot of businessmen that do bumps during the day on a weekday, but somebody who works for the government probably would be regularly tested." This again is demonstrative of a lack of boundary recognition and a sense of entitlement to talk about doing drugs, a lack of accountability, but also shows an incongruity with what he was saying to somebody. The picture continues to manifest with regard to this intriguing individual, and we shall now learn more in part 3. Join me there.